Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 40. I just finished reacting to episode 39 and 38 and 37. A little marathon, but I think I'm going to pause it here after this unless something really scandalous happens that I absolutely have to know an answer to at the end of this episode. But yeah, I only intended to watch one, maybe two, just get a little ahead on Patreon, and well, here we are. We are entering the final 10 episodes, the last fifth of the way through. We have gone through 39 episodes at this point, 40 at the end of this. Y'all, it has been a journey and a half. This is like 5 other countries worth of series worth of episodes that we've been through, and it has been such a journey. But towards the end of the last episode, basically we were questioning Lan Zhan's brother and just saying, hey, is there anyone you can think of that potentially might have these characteristics? Because the ghost seems to know a lot about this clan and that clan and these styles, and we're thinking of someone. Can you think of someone? And he's like, well, I know who you're thinking of, but that can't be because we've been having late night talks for the whole month, so it couldn't be him. And I'm like, it's him. I mean, he may not be the ghost, but I don't trust him. He's up to some nefarious deeds. That's all I can tell you. So we're gonna dive into episode 40 and see where this one takes us. Okay, so y'all remember, I don't know, like the last 20 or so episodes, how just about every episode I interject at some point that I don't trust Meng Yao. That I don't trust him. And they keep showing me things, and like I don't trust him. And then he went away for a little while, and then he came back, and you know, he's all sweet, and we've got Li Chan out here just trusting him, and we've had these late night talks every night, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Y'all remember that? Well, it seems as though my mistrust was in the right place, because holy shit. Like, I know I've been joking the last couple episodes where, like, I'd say I don't know who the big mastermind is yet because Zhu Yang hasn't felt like a big final boss character. I'm like, I don't know who this is. It's probably Meng Yao. It's probably Meng Yao. I know I'm just joking around, but I'm like, yo, is it actually fucking Meng Yao? Is Meng Yao here running all this shit? Or is there still someone else above him who's masterminding all of this, and he is the one just carrying out the brunt of the actual labor? I don't know, but that mirror world was terribly incriminating, I tell you. Lord goodness me. And next episode we're going to get, it seems as though Wuxia is able to do empathy through this paper doll to a severed head. So Wuxian's powers are just off the hook, off the chain. Like he's got some crazy level of powers that he can use such a high level amount of power through channeling it through this little paper doll to a severed head that's been severed for God knows how many years at this point. So we'll get some answers as to how we ended up here, hopefully next episode. But yeah, Meng Yao, not a great guy. Even before we crossed into the mirror world, I was still feeling very validated. That's probably the best part about this. I just feel very validated in my feelings for not trusting this little boy for the last like 20 plus episodes. Because his wife, which I'm like, oh, okay, he got a wife. Good, I guess, sure. In my head, a canon, everybody in this series is gay, but we can't show gay people on TV in China, so yeah, we gotta get him a wife. And he even had the sexy time with her when they made a kid. I'm like, okay, sure. Why not? We'll say that's canon. Sure, why not? He did that. But even before we found out about the mirror world, like the wife had, she was shook. She was sick to her stomach, and there's something in this letter that just had her distraught and sick. Now, I don't know what the full abundance of the letter said. I don't know if the letter was just, hey, he killed your son, or hey, he killed your son and he killed his brother and chopped his head off, and it's living in a mirror world behind, in the next room. Like, I don't know what full details, because the letters got burned and nobody decided to read these letters aloud. So I don't know what the letters said in their entirety, but it said enough to incriminate him and to make her regret ever meeting him, marrying him, not wanting anything to do with him, this, that, the other. And he's still out here acting as innocent as a newborn. Like, I didn't do a thing. How can you let some stranger writing letters, make up your mind, blah, blah, blah. And when he finally realized that she was not going to change her mind, and she was not going to tell him who told him about whatever his secrets were, he's like, okay, Dart, we're going to just block all your, clog up your chi. Nope, you can't move. You can't do a damn thing. So I'm going to sit you in this other dimension behind my mirror, and you're going to sit here and think about what you like. I'm glad that's the worst of what it is right now, because when at first he was mentioning, look, your father, or my father-in-law, is already gone on vacation, or I don't remember the exact terminology used, but like in my head, it was coming up like, hey, we sent Lassie off to a farm. Like what you tell the kids when the dog had died and you don't want to break that news to them. Like, we sent them up to a farm. They're going on a vacation. That's very much the vibes I got about what he was saying about his father-in-law. We sent your father-in-law to a farm. He's getting a rest right now. He's on vacation. And, I think it might be time for you to take a vacation too. I'm like, oh, Lord, he gonna kill her. Lord, he gonna kill her. So I'm glad that at the very least, she's still alive right now. He just has her paralyzed and locked in this mirror world. Because, again, he's got to keep up appearances for the next 3 days because they've got this conference, and he can't afford her out here screaming, hooting, hollering, and ruining his political, his public figure. Can't have her ruining that. And it seems as though the information she got about him killing their son, from what he was talking about, it's like, even if someone else didn't harm him, he still had to die, because if he grew up, then... And then she stopped him from talking. So it seemed as though potentially... And she's like, is everything always about your position? It's like, so it seems as though he killed his son to prevent him from taking the seats, taking the throne, maybe? We know he's, since his introduction, well, maybe not since his introduction, but since he had to leave the original clan he was a part of after he killed that guard, we knew since around that time period that he's had this stigma around him about his upbringing, his family, this, that, the other. And he's had this chip on his, well, not really chip on his shoulder, but this sort of trauma, I guess we could say, about everybody constantly bringing that up as a negative, and it's not anything he can control, but constantly looking down on him and treating him poorly because of who his mother was and the relationship between his parents and this, that, the other. And having a seat of power has been kind of an underlying, like having status has been kind of an underlying desire of his. It may not have been outwardly expressed, but that sort of desire to have status and to prove that I'm not just, someone's illegitimate child. I don't deserve this. I'm the king now. I'm the leader of this clan. I'm this, I lead this. You bow to me. Having that sort of thing is important to him. So, I feel like he's he's done a lot of things to get to this point, and after doing a lot of things to get to this point, he's willing to do a lot of things to stay at this point. He's not trying to lose this position for anybody. So whether that means he's got to kill his son, he's got to kill his brother, he's got to kill his father, he's got to kill his uncle, he got to kill, it doesn't matter. He is willing to do whatever it takes to maintain his position at the top of the totem pole. So yeah, I'm very, very happy that my feelings of mistrust are not unwarranted. What else happened in this episode? Lord, we had a nice uncle-nephew moment with Jinling and Wuxian, with the whole fight thing and teaching him some moves and this, that, the other in conversation, and how, well, my uncle tells me that fighting's not good and I shouldn't do that. And it's like, well, yeah, the uncle is telling you to learn how to defend yourself. I mean, he said it in other words. He's like, when you're young, if you don't have a good, passionate fight, then your life means nothing. And I'm like, no, that's not quite the lesson I was trying to teach him. I was thinking more along the lines of, hey, you've got a smart mouth and you know how to piss people off, and it's going to get you, it keeps getting you into trouble, and it will probably continue to get you into trouble in the future. So it's probably good for you to know how to defend yourself. Otherwise, you can get your ass kicked a lot in your future. That is my my explanation as to why I want to teach you how to fight, little boy. But Wuxian, we can go with his reasoning too. Just have fights so your life's worth something, I guess. But it was another nice one. Like I was saying last episode, it's nice to see even though he doesn't know that Wuxian is his uncle, he still sees him as this other person. And he hates the name Wuxian. Which I don't know to what full extent if anyone's told him that Wuxian is actually his uncle. Or if once Wuxian was killed off and whatnot, Cheng just completely denounced him and was like, he's not part of my family, and nobody speak of this. I don't know how much he actually knows about Wuxian. All I know is he was raised by Cheng, or raised with Cheng's influence, so it's like, okay, you are your uncle's nephew. He hates Wuxian and everything to do with him, so you hate Wuxian. He's out here saying Wuxian raised the dead and commanded sweet little cinnamon roll to kill your dad, and he got your mama killed, so that's what you believe, even though circumstances, that's not what happened. So it's nice to see them kind of develop this natural connection, being put in these circumstances that don't feel forced, because sometimes in series there are certain times we kind of force characters to be together for the sake of bonding. Like I even said earlier in this series, when we first, were we in the flashback already? I think we're already in the flashback. When we encountered, when we were first going to like the cave to encounter the dancing fairy statue, or maybe we were going to the forest. I don't remember what we were doing, but we had a whole group. We had Cheng, we had Wuxian, we had Lanzhan, we had Qing, and Sweet Boy might have been there at that point. But for whatever reason, there were all these ghost puppets, all these zombies, and instead of locking the zombies in like this net or force field to keep them contained, Wuxian decided to take all of his friends, trap them in the net, and keep them held prisoner. So then once the zombies came, now they're surrounded and can't get out. And I'm like, well, this seems like a terrible idea, but it was a narrative purpose to get Lanzhan and Wuxian alone by themselves in the forest so they could have this whole bonding moment. I'm like, this feels a little forced, feels a little unnecessary. Feel like we could have just not trapped the zombies and not trapped the people, and we could have gone, but whatever. I see what you're trying to do. So here with the nephew, like there are a lot more of these sort of natural chemistry building moments, and not romantic chemistry obviously, but just chemistry building moments that feel like the situations are a little bit more natural occurring rather than forced. So it's nice to see that. What else happened this episode? yeah, I think that was the majority of the heavy hitting plot points. So Meng Yao, not innocent, not a good father. Apparently, he's been a good husband ish. He's treated her right well. Not a good brother. And he's got the head of his brother in a cabinet with all manner of talismans on it, trying to keep that power contained or trying to ward off whatever. He is trying hard. He's got it in another dimension behind a mirror with talismans galore all over the damn place. It's like, okay, he is fighting hard to keep this bitch contained. So yeah, that was episode 40. We've only got 10 episodes left, so we'll just have to wait and see where the things go. Is Meng Yao the big bad, the ultimate big bad, or is there still someone else pulling strings? Don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction, this set of reactions. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.
Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. There was a time we had